The Cubs have played two amazing games against the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the thing that it tells me is that the possibilities for this team and their potential are really high. And it's exciting to watch what they're doing right now, and hopefully it translates throughout the entire season. We're going to talk about that on today's show. Also, a couple of other things, Carson Kelly, his impact on the team, and how he's been just amazing. We know that it was a successful surgery for Justin Steele. We'll get into that as well. And we'll talk about the Cubs potentially acquiring a starting pitcher. All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel. Like, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, get in the comments section, do all those things that Cardinal fans are like, what you're asking me to do 4 things. We got you covered, Cubs fans. Let's go. Please say everybody, Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel, and it is great to see you guys today as we talk about the Cubs here. And thank you. Look, the last couple of games have been absolutely amazing. Friday, I mean, you know what? How many times are you ever going to see a game like that? And you say that, and it's been, over a century since a team has done what that team did. Cubs had a 7-1 lead. I'm watching. I leave the restaurant. I get back to my place. I put the game on. I think I was gone for, I don't know, not long. And the bases are loaded. And then Suarez hits a grand slam. And the next thing you know, the Cubs are down 11-7 in that game. Eighth inning, 10 runs. It was the second time that the Diamondbacks had done the Cubs that way in the 8th. And they on X even trolled the Cubs a little bit. But the Cubs came back. Led by Carson Kelly, as you saw, and then Kyle Tucker, and then Seiya Suzuki. It was a beautiful thing. And according to Langs, it's the first team in 113 years to allow 10 runs in a single inning after the third and still win the game. I mean, how does that even happen, right? They were also the 7th team to give up 10 or more runs in an inning and win a game, according to Lang. So that means any inning. And the 16 combined runs in the 8th inning set a Wrigley Field record for the most runs in a single inning, according to Elias. And when you look at how that game progressed, I mean, you think about it now, like the Wrigley Field or Wegman Park opened in 1914. And then, obviously it's been going as Wrigley Field since 1927. To think that game on Friday was that significant, but it was. And I think what it tells us is that this team, they're a fighter. They're different. At least right now. And you can watch baseball your entire life, generations, and you're not going to see something like that. But what they do from here on out is going to tell us something. Is that the moment that this team clicked? Hey, we blew it. We came back. We won. And that's our identity. They're finding their identity right now. And I feel like it could be. And I'll tell you why. I love the way that they came out and played the game on Saturday, the game where you know what, it's hey, you won on Friday when you should have lost, but what are you doing the next day? They come back out and they have one of their best performances. Ben Brown pitched 4 innings. I hate when the bullpen has to work a lot, but those guys came in and got it done. Thielbar was as good as I've ever seen him. Keller's been just an absolute godsend. And then Daniel Palencia came in and, gave up a run, but pitched 2 innings and you get the win. And it wasn't the A bullpen that got the job done. And I think that's what I'm saying right now. Jed Hoyer's talking about having 8 different options out of the bullpen that you feel good with. They didn't have that in 23, and that's why they didn't make the playoffs. They didn't have that last year. It's not why they didn't make the playoffs. They just weren't good enough last year. They were good enough in 23. This team has all the fixings to be a really special group. When you talk about the rookies, you talk about the second-year guys, you talk about the veterans. You worry a little bit about the pitching. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but the most exciting thing, and you guys know, you've watched, I'm on here all the time, and I'm going to tell you what I think. And as much as I love the Cubs, I'm not one of these guys that gets on here and is going to blow smoke if I don't think the team's very good. I'm going to tell you that. But the way that Seiya Suzuki's hitting, Michael Busch looks like the player that the Cubs hoped they would get in the trade. And there's a potential that one day the Dodgers are going to look back at that trade and giving up Busch and be very disappointed in the fact that they didn't find a spot for him. But he's off to 316 average so far this season with 5 home runs. And he just looks the part over at first base. Like he's got 5 home runs, 15 batted in, but he has Gold Glove potential. He fits the part. He's in the lineup. You worry about him. He's the emerging star that we thought we needed at the beginning of the year, because you know what you're getting with Tucker. You know what you're getting with Suzuki. Dansby Swanson isn't playing awful, but he's still not hitting. Even though he did have a couple of hits yesterday, he's batting under 200. Ian Happ's getting on base. That's kind of what he does. But when you add Busch and then Pete Crow Armstrong giving you a really solid contribution, the lineup gets a lot deeper. And I'll tell you, that's what's going to make this team. That's what's going to put other teams, when they look at the Cubs, a little bit of fear in their hearts. And that's what's going to make this team really dangerous, right? So I wanted to get into those two things. I'm excited about the direction of this team. Carson Kelly's been just unbelievable too. There's some pressure because, if you saw the video the other day, Moises Ballesteros is coming, and they're going to end up having 3 catchers on this roster eventually, because they're going to put him in the big leagues. Now he may be a DH. I don't see him as a first baseman at 5'8", but with that said, I mean, he's just too good of a hitter to leave in the minor leagues. But Kelly and Miguel Amaya they've been good. I mean, a lot better than I anticipated at the beginning of the season. Now we still have a long way to go, but the Cubs are playing a difficult stretch. And the first part of this season is, hey, can we beat the good teams? And right now, yes. Now, the second thing is going to be, can we beat the teams in our division? They were awful against the teams in their division last year. That is coming up soon. So you're going to have to beat the Pirates. You're going to have to beat the Reds. You're going to have to beat the Brewers. But we're not there yet. And we'll talk about that when we do get there. But it's just a lot to be excited about right now. And you know what? Well, like I said, we'll move forward, and it's pretty exciting, just to kind of get to the point where you look at this team and say, hey, there's a ton of potential here and a lot to be excited about. Not just the record, but the vibe, the bullpen blowing it, and then the team coming back and winning, and then the bullpen coming back the next day and having one of their best performances. Now you got to continue that, but nothing gives you more confidence than knowing that if you mess up, somebody else is there to pick you. Now, I thought this was interesting, and I wanted to bring it to your guys' attention just to see what you think. But Kerry Miller of Bleacher Report, they do a great job there, says that maybe the Cubs should target Kyle Hendricks to return. He's actually off to a pretty good start with the Angels. Would you be opposed to having Hendricks back as a pitching option? Me personally, I don't think that's going to happen. I love Hendricks. I really, really do. And if, without Javier Assad, Justin Steele, what Jordan Wicks, he's got to come in and be good. But if it falls that low, do you think that they would do that? I just thought it was interesting. Is that the direction that the Cubs would go? Last year, it just felt like Hendricks had such a tough time pitching and getting outs and locating his pitches. And this year he's doing a little bit better. But, we'll see. I don't know. Anytime you talk about the guys that were on the World Series team, it's like he and Jason Hayward and Kyle Schwarber, my ears perk up, right? So, guys, tell me what you think. Somebody also posed an excellent question. And I wanted to pose it to you guys, and I'm going to get into it on another show. But of the 2016 World Series team, are there any Hall of Famers? Are there? I mean, because think about how some of these careers have fizzed after looking so promising, right? Like, who would have thought Chris Bryant, with the start of his career, would have it end like it looks like it's going to end? And Anthony Rizzo and Javi Baez, Kyle Schwarber. I mean, could he be a Hall of Famer? I think John Lester is probably a lock. I would say that Aroldis Chapman, I would think so, Hall of Famer. At least he's pretty close to it. I mean, he just keeps going. And, as a reliever, he's been one of the best for a long time. But you guys tell me what you think. Am I missing somebody? We'll talk about that in a future show, but I wanted to pose that question to you. But thanks for hanging out. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. A lot to be excited about right now at Wrigley. And some days off, so the Cubs will be able to kind of reset their rotation and rest those arms. But so far, so good. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Go Cubs.